If you've ever had this feeling that something was terribly wrong with the world that we live in, but you couldn't figure out just what it was, then you've come to the right place. Secret societies, mystery religions, and the Illuminati have been controlling our reality since the beginning of time. But not anymore, because there is an awakening happening, and you are about to become a part of it. Wake up, because this is a call for an uprising.
This is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show. I wanted to do this video. It's an important video. A lot of people were asking me questions about some of the images I used in the Oak Hill case video that I did a few days ago. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend that you check it out. It's important to know about these cases in history, because if you're somebody who's skeptical of SRA, of satanic ritual abuse, because you've been duped by the mainstream media and by the Satanists out there who use terms like satanic panic and witch hunts to discredit the child abuse that is put on these children through satanic rituals and black magic that they perform, using these children for pedophilia acts as well as human sacrifice, the trauma-based mind control that they put them through. If you're somebody who's skeptical, I recommend watching these videos on McMartin. Many of my first videos, I have many videos documenting these cases, these trials, these events that have occurred around the world involving the trafficking of children, how much money they make, how the CIA is involved in this. And it's stuff that people need to know, because they can wake up from this nightmare that we're living in and thinking that this stuff doesn't go on when it does, and people need to be aware of it. Now, some people asked me about some of the pictures that were used in the video, and I wanted to do a separate video on that to talk about it, because there was a book written called Don't Make Me Go Back, Mommy. It was a child's book about satanic ritual abuse. The book is really hard to find. I believe it's on Amazon. It's like $80 or $90. Now, I don't agree necessarily with how this book is done completely, because it is a bit frightening, and if a child does read it or a parent reads it to the child, I'm assuming that the purpose of this book, which was apparently given to doctors, psychiatrists, and whatnot to, have the children read it so that they might open up and express what happened to them if they were victims of SRA. But I do believe this might go a bit far. But I've mentioned on this channel before, I did go to Patmos and live there for quite a while, and was working on a book, which I'm actually going to continue and finish in the fall, because I do get snowed in where I am for about 6 months. And I'll have the time to do it, because I really won't be able to go anywhere. But I also think I might actually work on something geared towards children to help them open up, or help parents be aware of this, because they need to be aware of it. And since this book was discontinued, and, this article here, which you'll see, is from BuzzFeed, who makes a complete mockery of the book, saying that it's crazy and it's creepy and that, satanic ritual abuse isn't real. Of course they say that, because BuzzFeed is the bottom of the barrel. You'll find hobos who are better writers than these people, and obviously their job is to discredit things like this, satanic ritual abuse, and, make it seem like it's not real. That's exactly what everyone in the media does. And, it's an absolute shame, but it needs to be exposed, and there needs to be books out there so parents can understand this, whether they find it, there's going to be people who laugh at it and think it's stupid. But you know what? It's important, because there needs to be something to not just make parents aware, but make kids feel like they're okay opening up about it. So I might actually look into working on something in the fall as well, because these kids need our help. They need to have a voice, and they need to be, they need it to be known to them that it's okay to come out and talk about these things, and not to be afraid, despite what these low-life scumbag pieces of human trash do to them, to make them fearful of ever telling anyone. So this book is called Don't Make Me Go Back, Mommy. I'll show you some of the pages, and you can take a look for yourself. It says, my teacher said the reason they lock the door is so we'll be safe inside. Oh, guess what, Mommy? I got married today. Okay, this is a common theme in satanic ritual abuse. They have these children think that they're marrying the devil. They put them through all types of bizarre ceremonies. This page also very disturbing. Mommy said, were you a good girl? Did you do everything they told you to do? Allison, speaking very softly, said, I was good. I obeyed. My teacher's nice, but I don't like the juice at school. They call it magic juice, but it tastes funny. And the teacher said, she may be pretty tired and go to sleep early. She played so hard today. Now you can see the rabbits in the cage and the child around the rabbits, which is creepy, because we know they use these animals in these rituals that they perform. But keep in mind, magic juice, okay? A lot of these cases and these trials that happen involve them making children drink blood. They tell them that it's magic juice, that it's just juice. It's really blood of an animal or blood of a human or a baby that they force these children to drink. It happened at McMartin. They talked about being taken into churches and having to drink blood, which they were told was juice. It happened at the Oak Hill case. It's happened at a lot of these cases. Here it says, doctor, she has terrible nightmares. She won't eat some foods, and she becomes upset when I ask her to wear certain clothes. Something's wrong. She even bit the dog this week. Look at her now, pretending to be dead. I think something bad has happened to her at the daycare center. Now, the child pretending to be dead. This is something that they do. They make these children play dead and pretend to be dead. Sometimes they will actually put them in coffins, and inside the coffins, they'll put spiders and snakes and all types of just really freaky, disgusting things. But they'll make these children play dead in these rituals, and the children will obey. As the book goes on, we see Halloween, October 31st. Tonight, we will all go trick-or-treating together, and then we will have a special celebration in honor of Becky's birthday. We know what happens on Halloween. We know that they use this specific holiday specifically for blood sacrifice rituals of children. Okay, it's not for trick-or-treating or for candy. That's just a mirage, and it's a mirage that they've used as an excuse to abduct children because children are out in the loose trick-or-treating. They used to go and scoop them up. Not as much anymore because now they just get a lot of their sacrifices from the abortion clinics or from parents who are just prostituting their own children into these covens. Here you see a page, nothing that happens in the circle can be told outside of the circle. There is no way out because there is no end to it. Your parents have given you to us. They know what is happening. This is talking about how this is where they use fear and tell these children once they're in, there's no way out, that they can't go and tell, they can't go and tattle. This is fear that they use. Obviously, the ritual circle you see there is used in their rituals, their black magic rituals. As the book goes on, we see a child who I guess has been a victim of SRA. It says, my other mommy said, I don't have to use the potty anymore. I don't live at your house. I live at my house, you know. I don't want the medicine on my bottom, and I don't want any more pictures of me in the movie star room, excuse me. They hurt me, mommy. I'm bad, really bad. So this is how they victimize these kids into thinking that they're bad and abusing them as if they deserve to go through the punishment and the treatment that they go through. It's absolutely heartbreaking. I mean, it's even difficult just to sit through and read this. Here's a child, again, who is coded, using code here. It says, I don't want to take my clothes off for the doctor and walk around naked. He will give me bad shots, mommy. There will be more bad things happening. I want to go home. I already had the magic surgery. They put a monster in me. Okay, you obviously can imagine what they're talking about here, which is just absolutely disgusting. You know, I'm reading this for a reason. I want to make people aware, you know, that SRA is real. And these books that they had written, this company who had made this book, it was geared towards, you know, giving it to the therapist, to parents, you know, obviously hoping that if their children saw this book or read it, they can relate and would open up about it instead of being and living in so much fear and hiding it. But it's obviously just, it's extremely, extremely heartbreaking, you know, and disturbing to look at. Again, so we see how this book is coded. We see how they use these children in the satanic rituals. Halloween is involved. We see cages involved with animals. You'll notice that the child is holding up, you know, the rabbit. And then when the child's playing dead, the rabbit's playing dead next to him. Okay, this is all stuff that these children are put through. This book, obviously, you know, it was made with good intentions. I don't know necessarily if this got any type of point across other than, you know, it's obviously something the mainstream media, which just as recently as 2014, when BuzzFeed released this article, made a mockery of. They can use this and they can go, look at these weird, creepy books that Christians are making, you know, making light of the child abuse, which is absolutely disgraceful and disgusting. Even if you're somebody who doesn't believe in SRA and you don't believe in Christianity or Satanism and you're atheist, you know, nobody should be making light of this because this is made with good intentions to help children out, not to create some crazy witch hunt like they try to make it seem. You know, people out there are trying to help kids feel like they don't need to be afraid to open up about this stuff. And, you know, people like BuzzFeed should just be ashamed of themselves. They're just a bunch of cowards and scumbags. But again, the book is called Don't Make Me Go Back, Mommy. It's very hard to find. Amazon has some copies. I think they're about $100 each. And I'm not recommending anyone buy it, because I don't necessarily know if a book like this would work, but it's definitely something I'm going to put on my radar to consider doing, trying to make something maybe less frightening, but something where, involving scripture and the Bible and children not feeling the need to be afraid to open up and talk about these things to their parents, and not being afraid to talk to the police about it if, the parents do find out and then they go to the police. Because what happens a lot of times is these kids do open up to their parents and then they feel intimidated when they go to the police and they flip-flop their story because they don't feel comfortable opening up about it. But we know these Satanists are real. We know they exist. We know they prey off the blood of the innocent children. They prey off raping and molesting them because they're just absolutely soulless. These people aren't human. And I just wanted to make you guys aware of the book. This came out in about 1990. Not many other books have come out since then in regards to, a children's book that's trying to help both the parents and the children wake up to this horrible, horrible thing that is hidden from the world, and that is SRA, satanic ritual abuse. I will do my part in continuing to try to expose these monsters for what they are. I'm not going to back down from them. I'm not afraid of them. Not afraid of some grown men wearing bathrobes with their hoods up that think that they're big and they're bad and they're tough. To me, they're nothing but a bunch of cowards who hide behind masks, who hide behind cloaks, who don't have the guts to confront any Christians with backbones. Instead, they prey off the innocent. They prey off the weak. These people are absolutely pathetic. I thank you guys for listening to today's show. Hope you found this information useful. God bless all of you and your families.